Hi there, Claus Hessler here. I'm excited to announce that I'll be doing an online segment for the Valley Percussion Festival next Saturday, July 3rd, including Rudiments, Moeller technique, and some drumset applications. Hi there, Claus Hessler here. I'm excited to announce that I'll be doing an online segment for the Valley Percussion Festival next Saturday, July 3rd, including Rudiments, Moeller technique, and some drumset applications, including a little PDF for you to study along with me. Spread the word with your drumming buddies. Excited to see you there online. Until then, be safe and see you next Saturday, okay? July 3rd, Valley Percussion Festival. Yee-hoo! Off you go.
Guys, hope you are having a beautiful day today, a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in South Texas and in the U.S. Central Time Zone. Today's stream, guys, is a very special one. It's a beautiful thing what technology has been able to do for us, and in a way, a very positive thing that COVID has left behind for us, that we can enjoy this type of events, this type of educational activities. And today, I am so proud, so honored, so humbled, so all of the above. Check all the boxes here. Incredible, amazing drummer, phenomenal educator. He has a classroom of students, or a roster of students from literally, guys, all over the world. He was sharing with me. In order for me to tell you, Gilbert, where my last students were, I'm sorry, I'm turning this way because I got to look at the world map so I can, see where they're from. So this is incredible what we are about to experience, guys. And without any further ado, you aren't here to watch me. You are here to watch Claus Hessler. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Hello, Gil. Great to see you. Thanks for having me on the show. Looking forward to do this little thing with you guys.
Yes, we are so excited to have you here. We can't wait to dive into what we are about to learn. If we may, sir, where real quick questions. Where are you? You are in Germany.
Yes, I'm located here in Germany, in the pretty much southwestern corner of Germany, not very far from Frankfurt. So, which is quite convenient in the days of back then when people used to travel.
Yeah.
Which is not anymore, or again, kind of, let's keep fingers crossed, because the airport is very close and you have all kind of intercontinental flights that move in and out of Frankfurt. Yeah, but that's pretty much where I live. Yeah.
Nice. So we're shrinking the world and bringing this possible. Wow. And good. So, sir, can you tell us a little bit about your studio, about your roster of students, and what you have going on, services that you offer?
Well, I mean, I'm teaching drums with different universities here in Germany, but also internationally as a guest instructor. My say more or less private teaching studio where I'm right now. Um, I mean, I have people coming in from everywhere, both in presence when it was still allowed, which it is now again, but also online with people from literally all around the world, from Australia to South America to China to India to Russia to Poland to Norway to the UK to Iceland. I had last week to the US to Argentina. It's literally a little bit of everywhere. And last no 2 weeks ago, I did something for a drumming community in Nigeria.
Oh wow.
So it's an adventurous mix of most everything with all kinds of working drummers from the from the wedding band drummer who wants to go to the next level to people like in the worst case, say my cousin Annika Nilles. So we're actually family in case you don't know.
Oh wow.
And there's also David Garibaldi who came to this place here, or Daniel Adair, or another online guest that came to seek out expertise was Johnny Rabb, for instance. So it's all kinds of different people of different genres, different styles of music, different styles of drumming. And I'm just trying to help everybody to be the best drummer they can be. That's basically my job.
So that goes to speak volumes, sir, volumes about your knowledge and your capabilities as an educator. So yes, that gives us our viewers an insight. For those of you that don't know you, that's why I'm asking a little bit of questions to introduce you to those that may not. Just letting them know and clarifying they're in for a very special treat. I did not know Annika Niles was related to you.
I mean, frankly speaking, we didn't know that for quite some while too. I mean, we have both known each other for a long time, so we have a mutual history that goes back, I would say, 20 plus years easily, if not 25, because Annika, I mean, obviously comes from a place pretty much nearby where her parents lived.
Yeah.
And it was actually our parents who made us aware that we are actually related, saying, like my mother told me, well, I see you're doing quite some work with this girl drummer by the name of Annika. Uh, do you know that you're related? And I said, what, we are? Yeah,
Oh wow.
the grandfathers were like cousins. And I said, what is that? And it was pretty much around the same time when Annika's mother told her about that. So that was kind of interesting to see.
Wow, 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 wow. So a pretty interesting tidbit of information here in background from you. Wow, it's no wonder. You know, she came from. She has your genes. It's somehow passed along, and obviously has a drumming gene.
I mean, chances are it may be the case, but it may be. Who knows?
Well, sir, as a brief intro into your segment, what will be learning, experiencing today?
I'll be talking a little bit about some technical groundwork, hand technique in the broadest sense. It may be stuff that you maybe look at as being simple, but simple is never easy. That's
Yes.
something you're going to learn. Simple is not easy. And we're going to touch on some basic aspects of Moeller technique. And tomorrow is July 4, which marks another death day of my mentor, Jim Chapin, who actually, the father of independence, passed away on Independence Day. Imagine that, which is
Oh, wow.
tomorrow, obviously, for you guys. So we talk a little bit about Moeller. We'll be talking about some application of Moeller technique in a very fundamental rudiment. and we'll be applying that rudiment in a say in a couple of different ways around the drums. So there's also like one little page of worksheets. So anybody interested, just shoot me an email across my website, klaushessler.com, and I'll forward you this little PDF in case you want some backup information on this.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Well, without further ado, sir, they are here to see you, not to see me. So let's have fun.
Yep. Off you go.
Yes.
So guys, in case if at any point you have any question, let's say, regarding what I do or what I say, or if there's something that you miss in my explanations, just leave a comment. And I mean, I do not see them here in the StreamYard setup, but Gil, you can anytime like interrupt me and say, oh, here's this question from so-and-so, and I'm happy to address that. Now, one of the things I'd like to start out with is holding your sticks in the most relaxed way. And whenever people ask me, boy, Klaus, how do you hold the sticks with all the crazy stuff that you do? I mean, one of the first pieces of advice that I actually give is you take the stick, you throw it, and you catch it. And then once you did that, just have a look at how you caught the stick. Because what happens for the most part is the way how you catch it mostly happens with these fingers. It may not even be the middle finger, but for the most part, that's my major message. Nobody is catching the stick like so. So you may have heard the story, the stick is held between thumb and index finger, but that's only one option out of many, 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 many. And if I learned one thing, from my mentor Jim Chapin, that was a kind of funny statement in which he once said in the lesson, if somebody tells you there's only one way to hold a stick, run the other way. And he was right. So, okay, you throw the stick, you catch it. That's a very good go-to default position of where to start. Another thing, which is related to how relaxed you hold the stick, let's imagine you were to hold the stick even in a fist-like fashion. I know that may look bizarre and a bit strange, but rudimental drumming well into the 19th century was handled like that in the US just as well. In Switzerland and in France with traditional rudimental drumming, which is mind-blowing, by the way, you still find that way of that kind of grip for the right hand. And I'm introducing more on that, which is more on that on a platform, an educational platform that I put together with a student of mine, which is called openmindeddrumming.com. And it's actually the only platform that I know of in which you can learn European, Swiss, French-based rudimental drumming from scratch, which is a lot different than what you might expect from rudimental drumming in the US in the broadest sense. So let's imagine you have the stick in your fist, and imagine what I do here for some funny thing. I mean, what I do is actually double strokes. But what you see in my motions is I'm not even using any sort of wrist movement. I'm not using any sort of finger movement. I just have the stick super relaxed in my fist, and I'm moving my forearms up and down. That's basically it. And it doesn't sound as bad as you thought it possibly would, considering that aspect. So imagine what happens if I change the amount of tension or relaxation in my hands. If I loosen the fist just a tiny little bit, I can maintain the very same way of movement, but all of a sudden you get flams. But the way I move my hands is not changing at all. Loosening the grip makes the doubles. closing the grip makes the doubles, loosening the grip makes the flams. And for all of that, you don't even need fingers. Which is a quite interesting thing to try out for yourself. And I'm just saying it works with almost no effort at all. There's no specific technique from your fingers that you have to learn. Like you're not absolutely depending on any of that open close technique, which is great to have, but you don't need it like absolutely on all accounts, because there's no other way that alternating flams would work. They just as well work with the stick just in your fist. So that's an interesting way to look at stick technique and relaxation, and looking into the mechanics of what the stick does all by itself, and you just allow the rebound to work for you, which creates less work, less active work for you, the player, is something very important. So so that's something I would, each and everybody here, I would highly encourage to investigate further on this little thing here, because it really helps to reduce a lot of work. If you then just use your regular way of holding the stick in that throw and catch mode, let's say, you will discover the very same aspect. I'm just using my forearms to move them up and down, but you don't get to see a lot finger action like this, okay? That's point number one. So if we are talking about some basic Moeller technique, let's imagine these veterans that Sanford Moeller watched, and then Jim Chapin got infected with that because Jim was the master teacher, the master student of Sanford Moeller. I mean, they pretty much looked at European-based rudimental techniques in which that fist-like grip also played a vital part. And rebound also was a super vital part of that. So so understanding that a motion like this here, in which you just move up and down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, or to slow it down. Yeah. So you see this wave-like motion here that includes forearm and wrist. And Jim Chapin would indicate it as down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And there is one extremely important piece of information that 11 out of 10 drummers don't get, which is in Moeller technique, the up and down refers to the motion of the hand, not to the position or the location of the stick. So if somebody tells you this is Moeller technique, because an old white-haired guy would say this is down, up, down, up, down, up, down, I'm telling you, that's not Moeller technique. The stick needs to stay in motion all the time. And if somebody says, this is Moeller technique because down indicates the stick has to stay down, that's just as much Moeller technique as China is democracy. We all know it's not. But that is possibly a topic that I should not cover here. Again, you keep the stick moving at all times. So you see my stick is never stopping. Now let's say this is not even eighth notes, but this is a 16th note phrase. Let's imagine it's the second and the fourth position of a group of 4 16s. And you just use that as an ostinato. And then, I mean, Christmas time is right around the corner. Let's imagine Jingle Bells and play Jingle Bells as a melody on some other surface. So here's the ostinato. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so forth. So that could be a pretty good, I mean, not super entry exercise, but structure-wise, relatively simple. Everybody gets it. You play one loud and one soft stroke, basically, and you play something against it. Independence always was a great and is always a great indicator for some amount of, say, good technique. And both Moeller and Chapin understood that. So whenever you notice you can master the independence aspect of that, that also says something about your level of skill and understanding on Moeller technique, right? So with that in mind, coordination is just an indicator that tells you, I'm on the right track. The way I play this has become so much a cluster of a movement that I don't even have to think about what I do here. It just plays it all by itself. Jim used to say, give the stick a wish of its own. Imagine that. Give the stick a wish of its own. And that's really what you do. And it's not even needed to hold the stick in a very much scientific way. The fist, once again, just works in the very same way. To make the exercise a little bit easier, you could also refer to, say, having the accent just on the end, like, say, the bass drum marks the downbeat, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the accent here's the end. So what you get is and so forth. So check out these basic movements with a group of one loud and one soft stroke. For instance, in both of your hands, play something against it independently. You don't have to read music, although you could. But if you think of a song or the melody of a song that you play against the ostinato with your other hand, that also prepares you for, let's say, that very important task of having music in your head, music in your mind as you play the drums. Reading music and then solving the coordination thing and watching out for technique and and then still following other people around you. That's again a different topic, but looking into the aspect of thinking of music as you practice and making your practicing music from as early on as you can think of, that's always a pretty cool idea. Yep. So far with, say, some basic requirements of hand technique and Moeller technique, there's much more to say about that. Of course, I know, and there's a DVD out, which is, by the way, called Drumming Kairos, which is this here, a double DVD with 120 pages of extra booklet, and it's basically Moeller technique through the Chapin glasses, if you will. Just trying to define and further clarify certain things in detail that Jim always did in his lessons. But at times, as great as Jim was as a player and as an educator, sometimes he also left students behind a bit with all that crazy knowledge that he had and the crazy skills that he had in his hands. So this slows down things quite significantly, but also brings the notch up quite some degrees in quite some other places. I think it's really a good extra piece of information alongside Jim's legendary 2 books that he has out, Advanced Techniques for the Modern Drummer, Volume 1 and 2, and also his DVD, Speed, Power Control, Endurance. Good. So to further use all that stuff in a drum set like setting, I would look into a very simple rudiment, which is basically known as the single drag tap. The single drag tap, or the rigodon, as it's called in the French tradition of drumming, is basically this kind of a pattern. Check this out. So as you noticed, it's triplet based, and although a lot of teachers will tell you the pattern in its originally interpreted shape never was thought of to sound like so. I tell you, it was never that. Honestly, it was never that. And there's another book which is also out as ebook, which is Camp Duty Update, that I put together, and I'm still going crazy about the credits I got from that. And like one time in the evening, Steve Gadd called me and said, "Hey mate, can you send me a copy of your book? I forgot how much I loved Rudiments." That was before he put out Gaddiments. So Steve Gadd is in the list of people endorsing it. There is David Garibaldi, there's Steve Smith, there's Dom Famularo, there's Alex Acuna, there's John Beck, there's Vic Firth. I mean, it's anyhow, Camp Duty Update. And with Camp Duty Update, you find a piece, for instance, which is the Breakfast Call. And the Breakfast Call is the song or the track that was calling soldiers to breakfast, obviously. And the melody for it is so the melody has that triplet 6/8 like thing. Imagine you would play this against it. Nobody would come for breakfast, I tell you. So with, again, to close this, if you use the single drag tap, say in a drum set like variation, when you split up the pattern between hi-hat and snare, maybe in that style, first on the snare, then on the drums. You get some nice shuffly thing, which is, I mean, no rocket science to play, but once you think of your single drag like this, how would you possibly ever apply that on the drums? The answer is most likely no. So again, if you then stretch the distances between the notes, which is another Chapin concept that he referred to as collapsed or expanded rudiments, you can get this. So using the same pattern, the same sticking, you can switch back and forth between a triplet grid, a triplet subdivision, and 16th notes, which is quite an interesting thing to do. So it also, the rudiment all of a sudden also helps you to bridge certain say to bridge or to create a bridge between binary and triplet based rhythms. So it's not just that. Of course, you can also use the phrase as a group of three, which will be. So that is also another fun thing. And one last thing that I still like to show you is, as the single drag tap is obviously placed on a grid of 6, I should say, because it's ultimately 16th note triplets. So with the aspect that you give the drag a certain position, the double stroke receives a fixed rhythmic position, you can also start the pattern in 6 different positions, which is something that most people don't think of. So imagine a starting point like this. If I leave out the bass drum, most likely you're going to hear the single drag tap in its original case, like so. Which is another cool thing to do, still a very traditional old European rudiment, but all of a sudden you can really do actually hip contemporary drum set applications with it. And of course, you can also create a 3-note grouping out of that shifted variation. Say, imagine this. So that's all pretty cool stuff. And of course, you would notice when I played the drums, I didn't cross my hands. I played it all open-handed. So that is pretty much it. It has to do with 2 other things that I put out together with my other mentor, by the name of Dom Famularo, the one and only. So there are 2 books out on playing open-handed. It's actually the first and so far the only 2 books that were written on the subject, with preface and credits from nobody else than Billy Cobham, Simon Phillips, Kenny Aronoff, Will Kennedy, like the go-to open-handed players. I'm personally right-handed, but I just believe in the future of being the drums being played open-handed. So These two books actually describe my personal way, my personal redevelopment of open-ended playing since I was starting out like that as a kid. And yes, I have more than just one hi-hat. It's actually three. There's one here, there's my main hi-hat, and there's another set of small hi-hats over here. And there is still one more thing that I put out, which is the daily drum set workout. So you're looking for something to help with your daily shed. That may be the go-to book. And again, there is my trio Flux. It's a Hammond trio. We just released a third album, and there's also a drumless album out there from the recent one, which is called On Earth. So if you maybe want to try out that and take my seat on the drums, they're available with click and without click. So that's my little load of knowledge here that I wanted to spread. Some technique, some Moeller, some rudiments, some open-ended playing, some stories, some motivation, some entertainment, some whatever it is.
Wow, it's incredible how when you get a world class educator like yourself, an accomplished world class educator, um, a small segment jam packed with gold nuggets from the get go. Toss the stick, catch it. Personally, I had never thought of that concept of how to grab the stick. That one blew me away, and how you explained it, amazing, amazing, amazing. Um, Gold nuggets of information all throughout. Incredible. So, do you also? I made sure that I shared your your web address for that leads them to the books and all the DVDs that you have and so on and so forth. Um, do you can they also reach you in your website for lessons?
Sure, yeah. So just shoot me a message. There's a section on the website that goes direct where you can email me directly to my account. So that's no problem at all. You can also reach me through Instagram. So there's also a lot of educational stuff on my Instagram account, which is, say, a little bit of my daily practicing workbook, but also at times questions and answering questions that students of mine or followers just put up, and I put together a little video explaining on whatever it is, techniques, polyrhythm, open-handed playing, foot technique, whatever it is. Uh, Follow me, subscribe, come to my YouTube channel, check out openmindeddrumming.com, and we can be friends.
Yes, 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 yes. Very accessible, guys. Very accessible person. Easy to talk to, as you saw. Very easy to learn from. And you, the proof is in the pudding. You just experienced it. You're in for a trip by studying with Mr. Claus Hessler. Uh, Klaus, a huge honor to have you in our stream, in our show, in our channel. And you know, this now by default, sir, has become your home as well in the US. You're welcome here anytime. You have anything coming up that you would like to, let the world know, we would welcome you here so that our part of the world will know about it. You're welcome here anytime.
Thank you so much. I might even make use of it once I'm traveling to the US the next time, which
Please do.
or I hope is going to be soon. Maybe not this year with all the stuff that's still happening, but fall is filling up fast. So maybe next spring or next summer, fall, who knows?
Hopefully we can have you in our live event. We Valley Percussion Festival, Klaus, has been going on for 30 years. It's not until COVID hit that we launched it virtually. So it's a very well established a festival, a drumming festival. It started as a day of percussion event by our founder Robert Woteo, and then due to COVID, it forced us to do the inevitable, and people have been receiving it very, very well. I know you're on a tight schedule, so we appreciate the time that you have shared with us today. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to have you here soon again, Klaus.
Thank you so much, Gil. It was a pleasure to spend this 40 something minutes with you. In case you got anything coming up, like questions, requests for lessons, whatever it is, or you have a question on my books or any upcoming projects, just shoot me a message through my website or send me a message through Instagram, and I'm happy to respond on that. Yep.
Thank you, sir. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Claus Hessler. See you next time.
Thanks.